Some people say that driving a Corolla is like watching paint dry. Well, those people have never driven the GR Corolla. This is the core, and it's the kind of car that'll make you forget about the beige Corolla your mother used to drive. What's it like? Let's go for a drive. I'm your host, Brian Max, racing driver, lover of driving fast, fun things, and on this channel you get reviews for drivers from drivers. Now, we have had a go in the GR Corolla twice already, 2 days spent on racetracks, and it is an incredible machine, but I've never driven one on the street. So this, I think, will be telling, because after all, it is a road car that you can take to the track, but primarily it is a road car. And before we get into what it's like to drive, let's have a look at this GR Corolla in a little more depth. Mechanically, we know what's going on here. However, it's worth having a bit of a review. And for starters, this is made in the legendary Motomachi factory, and this is not a mass-produced Corolla. One of the things that they do is they strengthen the chassis. It's stiffened and strengthened all around. The engine's a 1.6-liter 3-cylinder turbo, makes 300 horsepower at 6,500 RPM and 273 pounds of torque from 3,000 to 5,000 RPM. It's a 6-speed manual only. Save the manuals. There is switchable rev matching, which we will talk about later. It is all-wheel drive with settings for torque splits of 60-40, 50-50, or 30 front, 70% rear, which is the way to go. This one is the core. In the US, it does get open diffs as standard. The limited slips are optional at about $1,100. Here in Canada, front and rear limited slip diffs are standard. McPherson struts at the front, double wishbones at the rear, electric power steering, of course. Brakes are 4-piston at the front with 14-inch rotors, 2-piston at the rear with 11.7-inch rotors. Wheels and tires are 18s, and if you look closely, you can see the wheels are made by Enkei, which is pretty cool. Tires are Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, 235 wide all around, and in this spec, the core with the front and rear limited slip diffs, curb weight is 3,262 pounds. The driver interface isn't bad, but some of the Corolla bits are here. Some of those hard points are here, and what that means is the seating position is just a touch high for my liking. I'd like to get this seat a little bit lower. This is a driver's car after all, and I really only have one complaint, and it's really with the pedal layout. I didn't discover that on the track, but here on the road, I learned something, and that is I really don't care for this pedal positioning. Even with my big skate shoes, I'm having a hard time heel and toeing on the road. On the racetrack, it's really not much of a problem. Yes, there is switchable rev matching, and what I found is I do use rev matching on the street because it's a little awkward to get my shoe over to the throttle pedal, blip that throttle, and make the downshift happen. If you don't know what heel and toe is, there's a link here and below to how to heel and toe. Explains all of that there. That's really my only complaint. If I were driving one of these regularly, I might get some different pedals for this GR Corolla, but otherwise I'm happy with the ergonomic layout. Great relationship to the pedals, to the steering wheel. Love the shape and the size of the steering wheel, and the shifter is easy to reach as well, and I love the way the shifter actuates. It's positive, it's clear, haven't missed a shift, and that clutch also is positive. Great feedback from it as well. Really can't complain there. The seat itself is just about perfection for the intended use of this GR Corolla. Lots of support, very, very comfortable, even on long drives. Again, the only thing I'd really like to do is get it a little lower in the chassis. I wonder if you can modify these seat brackets and get this seat a little bit lower. That's definitely what I would do, but otherwise, love the upholstery as well, and you should have cloth upholstery in a driver's car like this. Ergonomically, it's modern Toyota, and there's really nothing to complain about, and it's all very straightforward, easy to live with on a daily basis. The infotainment system is pretty straightforward. It's one of Toyota's latest. It does have Apple CarPlay. It is wireless as well, and it just works wonderfully with Apple CarPlay. Also, I should highlight the digital instrument cluster. It is customizable to a certain degree and presents you with all the information you could ever possibly possibly need when you're driving your GR Corolla, either on the road or on the track. In terms of spaciousness, this is based on a Corolla hatchback, so that is what you get. There's a reasonable amount of room under the hatch. I can kind of fit behind myself in this seating position. 4 adults would kind of be comfortable, but that back seat's really not meant for long distance driving with adults in that second row. Now, in terms of acceleration, if you are not as mechanically sympathetic as I am, you can get this to do 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds, and that's quick enough. But it's actually more impressive when you're on the move. This is just a weapon. If you're in the right gear, this thing will out-accelerate almost everything else on the road. It is very, very quick in the real world. We'll talk about how it puts down power in a little bit, but love this motor for a 3-cylinder that makes this kind of power, that sounds this good. I'm very impressed with what Toyota has done here. Reason is that torque curve is big, it's broad. You're never at a loss for torque any time, but if you're really hustling this thing, it is real world quick. It is just outstanding. The gearbox is fantastic. The ratios are wonderfully engineered. They're just perfectly chosen for the task at hand here. It's definitely on the close ratio side of things. Love the way the shifter actuates. Love these shifts. They've just done a great job of engineering this manual gearbox into this GR Corolla. As you know, this has different settings for torque split. I generally get in and make sure that I do maximum torque to the rear. Gives it a little bit of a different balance, but with these limited slip diffs front and rear, you are never at a loss for traction in the real world. Real world traction is just incredible. The Michelin tires just stick all the time, just like we found on the track. This is incredible. High levels of grip, and when you're exiting corners, this thing is just a rocket ship. Out of curiosity, I would like to try this core with the open diffs, but we know that this limited slip diff setup is much better, but I'd like to try it at some point. I might have to borrow one of these in the United States and give that a try, but this is the right way to go with the limited slip diffs front and rear. The overall handling package is really the highlight of this GR Corolla, and the reason is, in every way, you have tremendous confidence when you're behind the wheel. What I really like is the steering. The responsiveness of it is just top notch, and on top of that, it seems like the steering ratio is a bit quicker than any of the other Corollas that we've driven. I am just enamored with the steering system. As well, the brakes are wonderful. They're powerful. Feedback and feel is absolutely top notch. It's a rare commodity today to get this much feel and feedback out of a brake pedal, especially a 2023 Toyota Corolla. Yeah, it's a GR Corolla, but this braking system is top notch. And of course, it's got the grooved rotors, and the rotors are massive, 4-piston calipers at the front. This is the kind of car that you can place on a proverbial dime just on the brake pedal alone. I just love this setup on the road, and certainly we've proven that it works great on the track as well, but this is a fantastic braking system. In terms of handling, we do have to discuss the compromises that Toyota has made. This is firmly suspended, as you would expect for a car that has a GR badge. This is no soft middle-of-the-road Corolla. No, it's meant to attack corners, it's meant to carve canyons, and it's got the suspension settings to back that up. What that means is it's fairly firmly suspended and has the damping to match. So in day-to-day driving, yes, it can be a little firm, but when you are enjoying this in the corners, the damping is spot on. Excellent body and wheel control. It is incredible how they've developed the suspension, but we know this is a factory special car, and they've taken the time to engineer the suspension properly. It is fantastic. It absorbs large and small road imperfections just perfectly. perfectly, especially when we're on the go. I've driven this on some very, very bumpy roads and enjoyed myself, and the suspension soaks up those bumps. Make sure that the tires are in contact with the road as much as possible. They've done an excellent job developing the suspension, and then as a complete package, it is just glorious in the corners. While I'm not pushing this to its absolute limits on the road, we've done that on the racetrack. And what I found is that I can keep attacking corners harder and harder, pushing my braking points, carrying more speed, picking up the throttle earlier. And the GR Corolla just says, yeah, whatever you want to do, I'll sort it out for you. This is a completely rewarding car to drive, especially when you're enjoying yourself. And then on top of that, as we know, when we played with this at the racetrack, it has wonderful balance as well. This doesn't exhibit any odd behavior, any unusual behavior. It's just a completely rewarding car to drive. Here's the thing, when you're on the move and enjoying it, this is the kind of car that I shouldn't be allowed to drive. It is a complete weapon. You've got such confidence to be able to do everything you want to do with this GR Corolla. Whether you're diving into the corners on the brakes or transitioning onto the throttle and picking up that throttle to rocket out of a corner, the all-wheel drive system works wonderfully. Tons of traction, tons of acceleration, confidence in the brakes, confidence in the steering. It's just an all-around delightful package. It's the kind of thing that paints a smile on my face, and if you haven't driven one, you absolutely have to drive a GR Corolla. This is an incredible driver's car. How do you spec yours? Well, it's fairly easy, especially when it comes to a core. Here in Canada, you do get the diffs as standard. In the US, it's about an $1,100 option. Base price in the US is about $36,000. Here, it's $45,000, and you definitely need those diffs. Now, when it comes to speccing yours, we're in a bit of a quandary here, and that is because we haven't driven the circuit on the street, and we need to do that before we make a determination. If you are getting a core, however, you definitely need the diffs. As for the white paint, well, we really don't like that. And as for the black wheels, show of hands, who doesn't like black wheels? Now, that's me, and I've actually painted my black wheels on my race car gold simply because I don't like black wheels. Nonetheless, when we get our hands on the circuit, we will definitely have an answer on how to spec your GR Corolla. My verdict, well, let's talk about fuel consumption for a second. And if you complain about my fuel consumption, well, there are other channels for you, because regular viewers of the show know that I like to enjoy the throttle of everything that I drive. And in decent driving, I'm able to get about 20 miles per gallon. After that, if I'm enjoying the car, well, it's just off the charts, and it's worth every penny of fuel that I spend when I drive a GR Corolla. As for this Corolla, well, it's the kind of car that will change your perception of what a Corolla is. It's certainly unlike that beige Corolla your mother used to drive, and it is absolutely an incredible machine. It's the kind of car that transforms the brand image of Toyota alone, and who knew that in 2023, Toyota would be building incredible driver's cars like this GR Corolla. Thanks for hanging out with me today and having a look at this 2023 Toyota GR Corolla Core with the limited slip diffs. Hope you liked this episode, and if you did, you're not new to YouTube, you know what to do. Smash the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, like this video, and as always, sharing is caring, so please share this episode with your friends, especially on Reddit, because on Reddit, they really need to see reviews for drivers from drivers. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you want to support the channel, please hit up our merch store. Links here, links below. Lots of great stuff for driving enthusiasts like us, including our popular line of Save the Manuals merch. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you again next time. And remember, cars don't understeer by themselves, not even Toyota GR Corollas.